morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Roundtable this beautiful morning. My name is Joy Radumini Asoyen. As it is often said, young people are indispensable in achieving a future that is sustainable and resilient. Experts have also advocated for public policies aimed at investing in youth and directed at addressing development and unemployment. And so today we'll be discussing investing in youth development to tackle unemployment. As you must have seen, it seems like our young people are engaging in all the social vices you could think of. So how can we draw them back, give them employment, and get them gainfully and productive to society? That's what we'll be discussing with my guest, Mr. Kayode Adaramodu. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you so much for joining us. He's a UK-based policy expert, international development consultant, a former deputy GM of one of the top banks in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. He's also a gubernatorial aspirant for Ekiti State. I wish you luck with that. But we'll all discuss. We'll discuss all that and more on today's edition. But first, let's go for a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Give us the permission to search you. You can go.
Is this a movie? If it happened.
Officer, I beg carry and go station. When our Oga come, you come meet am for there.
Hey, Mr. Man, I cannot do that.
Tell your Oga to come to our station when he returns.
Am I in a movie? If it happen,
Mama, please. Mama, please.
Thank God you're here. Do the needful.
Mama, please, just 3 weeks
Madam,
now.
why did you invite us to come help chase your tenant now?
This is a civil matter now.
Is this a movie? If it happen,
If we follow
The new police law.
Many thanks for staying with us. This is still the Roundtable where we are discussing investing in youth development to tackle unemployment. Okay, Mr. Kayode, let's just look at the Nigerian youth as you see them now, the reality of it. It seems like they are indulging in a lot of social vices. If you have to pull them in, I know you have a blueprint. You have a blueprint for the Ekiti State people. Yeah. However, let's look holistically at the Nigerian youth. What would you say they need more than anything right now?
Thank you, Joy. The topic on youth empowerment, it's a compelling one for me. It's a topic I discuss at personal level, and when I have opportunities to speak to those in power, it is one thing that is so dear to my mind. I say this because, giving you a background, I look at my own personal story, the unique experience of my upbringing in Ekiti State. A son of a farmer, a son of a petty trader, who today, by the grace of God, is aspiring to be a governor in Ekiti State. What could have happened? How did the transformation begin? I would say in my own time, education was key. Quality education was available. And with education, the opportunity to compete for good jobs, it was there. So it wasn't just that I went to school, that my parents tried all they could to see me through university education. I completed my university education without waiting for one day. I gained a job, a gainful one.
Right.
And that changes began to happen. To me personally, and by extension to my family, and further extended to the society. I would say that structure, that system that we used to have, that guarantee a better tomorrow for a child that had been taken through education system, that system is what has collapsed. So we talk about youth voices today. For me, it is a symptom of the system that has collapsed. And in trying to fix this problem, we must, like you said, holistically ask ourselves, where did we get it wrong? Let me say this. Issue of youth employment or unemployment is not just a national or Nigerian thing. It is a global phenomenon. It has become that worrisome to national leaders around the world, global leaders, that in their wisdom, when they sat down in 2015 at the UN summit to come up with what will become the global development agenda that will replace the Millennium Development Goals,
yes.
They came up with a new 17 goals that is captured as SDGs. So in their wisdom, one of the major goals that every nation must begin to look at has to do with this youth employment. SDG 8 talks about decent work and economic growth. So for me, I would say it is not just a Nigerian thing. It is a global problem.
Right.
But we can now come to Nigeria and localize this issue and begin to ask ourselves, where did we get it wrong?
Exactly. Now,
Thank
the
you.
federal government has had several initiatives
Yeah.
to bridge that gap of unemployment in our young people. We've seen skill acquisition programs. We've seen several loan credit facility programs. Now, why would you say it has worked? Because it feels like a drop in the ocean when you look at what is disbursed and what eventually gets to the people. Why hasn't it worked? And if it has worked, why do you think it has?
My response to this, in a way, will be mixed. On one side, I don't want to be political about this or partisan about this. I would say I see a government that is really conscious of this problem. And I would say the desire. There's a strong desire in terms of policy statements of government. If you look at the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which is the National Development Plan of the present administration, you will see that there is so much focus, commendable focus, on issues of hunger, issues of employment, issues of education, SDG 3, gender equality, peace and peaceful and secured environment and international partnership. This is captured in the ERGP. He had embarked on several initiatives. But to know whether we are making progress or not is not about what I say, but more about what even the government is saying in terms of statistics that are available. If you look at the most recent available data from NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, the rate of unemployment combined with underemployment put together is about 55.4%. This is alarming. As at March this year, Bloomberg released a report also laying claim to the fact that unemployment rate in Nigeria has grown from 27% to 33.3%. So if these initiatives are working, the figures should be coming down and not going up.
Right.
So using those parameters, I would say yes, we are aware the government is working, we are aware the initiatives are coming, but I'm not too sure if they are already addressing the problems.
What often impedes that addressing the problem? What would you say are those indices one should see? If the government is doing what it can, where should citizens meet halfway? What should be going on now to that like the staggering statistics you just gave?
Yeah.
How can we break that and reduce it to the bare minimum?
Okay. When we look at employment, we also need to break it down into its component. There is the formal, there is the informal. Greater majority of Nigerians are found in the informal sector. And the danger in this environment is the fact that jobs and incomes are not secured. And unfortunately, the informal sector in Nigeria accounts for 65% of our GDP.
Exactly.
And looking at recent figures, areas where the government is creating jobs, going by statistics, you will also discover that 75% of jobs that are being created, they are in the informal sector. So, therefore,
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but we still need to do a lot more in finding means of moving people from the informal sector to the formal sector, where wages, where job, where skills can be more developed and more guaranteed. I think that is one of the things government should begin to look at. And I think they are making effort in addressing that. It's just that the problem we are trying to resolve today, they did start today.
Exactly.
So it's a backlog of many years of abandonment. So if we are consistent with the ongoing efforts, for me, I would say in a matter of 4 more years, 5 more years, we'll begin to see improvement. If we are conscious that what we need to move is to migrate people from the informal sector to the formal sector of the economy.
Yeah, if you have to suggest ways, is it like the formalization of businesses that the government had once announced? Is that a step? And if so, that was just 2,000 people, businesses that was to be formalized. How does that help the millions and millions of young people?
It is not just formalization. Maybe I will take this back to Ekiti now. If you ask me what I want, part of the things I intend to do, if I'm given the opportunity to, from the next government in Ekiti, I will tell you one of the things that have always been very dear to my heart. I had suggested it to government in the past, but unfortunately, if you are not the one behind the steering of a car, you can only be an onlooker as a passenger.
Exactly.
The idea of establishing life academies where we need to train and retrain our youths. The educational system, as far as I'm concerned, I would say it's not measuring up to the needs
of the 21st
century. We still look at education the way it was many centuries ago, but the world is changing and rapidly for that matter. Therefore, for our youth to become competitive, they require a new set of skills, new knowledge, new exposure to the realities of today. So if you are able to train them and take them through business development processes, then formalizing businesses will be a complementary effort. But if you start from there, without developing the people you want to formalize business, you may not get the kind of result that is required. So it should be, if possible, a national thing. Our youths, yes, maybe they go to NYSC. What happens after NYSC? No job is guaranteed. So rather than them waiting for a job that is not there, we should create an avenue for them for training, proper training on the realities of today. And where, if we break the economy down, we have several sectors. It is not the peculiarities of the sectors. There are some that are capable in absorbing, the youths more than the other. So if we focus on those areas, then I think we will make better progress than it is now.
Yes, I mean, you have traveled all over the world, and you even had to travel all the way to Manchester for a master's. Yeah. Give us an idea as to how we often look towards the West for how structured their institutions seem to be. Give us an idea as to how you think they achieved that.
This is a very good question. Let me tell you my journey to Manchester, to United Kingdom. It actually started in 2005. At that time, I was a regional manager for my bank here in Abuja, supervising its operations in Abuja and the northern part. The office offered me an opportunity to interact with people in government. And it was in that process I discovered that business processes can actually be conducted better than what it was. Right. Than what I was saying. And clearly I made up my mind that after banking, I would want to pursue a career in the public sector. On that basis, I wrote an essay to seek for a scholarship, the British Evening Scholarship. And luckily, I got that award. And I went to University of Manchester to study public policy and management. The course was basically to expose me to the standard frameworks of governance in the UK. So, like you rightly asked, I saw. I came back to Nigeria after 1 year, to return back to the bank, and for some years I remained in the bank. After I left the bank, I went back to the UK again, then to join the government, to join different charity organizations, to see exactly what they are doing to make the economy be as it is. I worked in the Office for National Statistics purposely to see how government data are being used to improve public policy. So if I want to answer that question, the first thing I will say is that the British government, they know who they are. They know their people. They have data that can give them information about any segment of the society they want to deal with. If they want to roll a policy for children between age 1 and 5, they have the records.
Right.
Between age 30 and age 40, the records are there. And I say this to my friends. I say, how do you plan for your family if you don't know the number of wives you have? You don't know the number of children you have. How do you plan? How do you take care of them? So I would say the first thing that is lacking in our environment is that we don't even have records of Nigerians. So when we plan, most of the time, we plan arbitrarily. So if there's something to fix first, it would be to fix this, the need for us to have accurate, reliable data that can become evidence for policy making. That will go a long way in addressing some of the issues we have. Yeah.
Well,
I can take it further. If you want me to go further, I will.
I know that speaking about all the many things Nigeria needs to get in place, but, we will not leave this place today. Okay. Now going back to investing in youth development, a lot of people have said public policies are not aimed and properly targeting these young people. If you have to suggest how we can reach these young people, I mean, I know you've mentioned the living life coaching, I'm not sure how you put it.
Life Academy.
Life Academy, yes. You had mentioned the Life Academy. But are there targeted ways? I mean, we have young people now indulging in banditry. We are seeing kidnapping on the rise. Just a couple of days ago, a friend of mine was robbed at gunpoint. It's that bad. Here in Abuja. So if you can suggest, these are people who, I'm not one to say crime is paying, but to a very large extent they are making so much from the criminal activities. Is it possible to still bring them back, embrace them with whatever policy you suggest?
Let me say this. I'm not a promoter of bad behaviors.
Right.
But I won't lie to you. Anytime I see the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria arresting criminals, and I take time to look at who these criminals are, and it's what I say I believe you have been saying. You discover that they are very young people. Our brothers and our sisters out there. I have this feeling within me that crime is not always the first option for people. In Nigeria, we have gotten to a level, I wish I could say this thing I wanted to say is in Ekiti dialect.
You can say it, I'm sure. Yeah, so some of our viewers will
say, come back to Fagburu. Buru Fabu. How do I? Let me try to illustrate this. You want to light a candle, and beside this candle is a keg of petrol. What you are going to get at the end of the day is not just light. It's going to be fire, a white fire.
Yes.
What we are doing in Nigeria with our youths, many times we think we just want to light a candle. There is a gun, a big,
inflammable
inflammable
substance
beside this. That is the abandonment of our youths. So, when we talk of vices, the instinct for survival in an environment where few has more than what they need, and many, who are the majority, have little to feed on, there is little you can do to stop crime. I'm not promoting crime, but our government, and let me tell you, there is this thing I know about Nigeria, the resilience, the power of our people. When we are determined to fight a battle, we succeed in achieving this. And I will use Ebola as a good case. I will use the COVID-19 pandemic that is still ravaging the entire world. When it was time for our government to sit up and tackle these problems, they were able to deploy resources to tackle these issues. Not until we begin to see the issue of youth unemployment as another variant of COVID-19 pandemic and call an action, comfort action on youth unemployment, we may not be able to overcome the criminal issues we are dealing with. It is time for us to declare emergency on this issue of unemployment, youth unemployment. If we do that, it will give it the kind of attention we are giving COVID today. I want to be sure in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, we'll be recording different reports. So let our government not pay lip service to issue of youth and unemployment. Let it become a national agenda. That all the states will also roll out their plans that are sincere and are pragmatic.
Okay, so with these thousands and millions of Nigerian youths being churned out of the university system every year, how would the government be able to maintain or contain it, especially as globalization is seeping into every aspect of our lives, and a lot of people have said there's going to be a lot of job loss? Is the Nigerian youth ready for globalization, for this internet age that we found ourselves?
I think that will take us back to what precedes even employment, which is education. If we get it right at the level of education, you'll be shocked at the kind of results we'll be getting in Nigeria. If we make our education functional, if we make it qualitative, rather than focusing on passing examinations, it will begin to focus on building character, building creativity, building confidence, and building the capacity of our young ones to think critically and to embrace entrepreneurial mindset. It is not every graduate who wants to go and queue looking for a job. If we are giving them the right tools, the right skills right from school, many of them will leave school and become employer of labor.
Exactly.
So if we don't attend to education, it is garbage in, garbage out. And believe me, today, if you want to enjoy yourself, go on social media. Read what people write. You'll be shocked at the way some of our younger ones even compose simple statements. And they will tell you they are graduates. I was talking to, I like interacting with them when I encounter them. I saw a young boy 2 weeks ago when I was in Ekiti. What class are you? SS3. Oh, can I ask you a question? I said, go ahead, sir. 5 times 5. He could not provide the answer. SS3.
Wow.
And that person, one way or the other, will end up in the university. And if Kayode is not taking, one day he will graduate. So we have a lot of poorly prepared graduates in the system. So it is not the number of people that are leaving school that matters, it is the quality. So if we improve on the quality, believe me, people will get into a job and they become more productive. Those who are not going to job, they will use their own brain. Good enough. We're in a world where the quality of your brain is what is driving the economy in other parts of the world. Mineral resources are no longer the in thing. Technology is almost driving everything everywhere. And we have very brilliant, talented Nigerians, particularly in Ekiti. So all we need is to put the right framework, the right environment that will allow these people to have the appropriate reward for their talents.
Speaking about the brilliant Nigerian youths that we have, not particularly in Ekiti, all over Nigeria now, are you concerned about the brain drain we often find? The best of our young people are leaving the country.
If any Nigerian tells you is not bothered, then the person is not patriotic. I am worried. I was listening to a TV program last week. Some medical doctors were invited, I think, on AIT or channels. And when they were narrating their ordeals and how Saudi Arabia comes to Nigeria, UK, how they come to Nigeria
to poach our doctors,
to take away our doctors, our nurses. And we know what is left behind. Nobody will tell you is not worried. You know, I will say this with all modesty. Finding myself working in the UK, many times I ask myself, should I be here? These people don't need me. They are need. My people need my skills more in Nigeria.
Right.
But unfortunately, you come to Nigeria, you want to give in your best. The system also has its own way of frustrating those good intentions. So it's worrisome, and I believe people in government are not taking this with levity. Even though I think there was a minister that carelessly, maybe last year or 2 years ago, said some people can leave, they will recruit more. A good, good leader will say that. So I believe every right-thinking Nigerian is worried about the way we are losing the best of our players, quote and unquote, to other teams abroad.
Is there something you think the government can do in that regard? I mean, you can't stop people from moving from one place to the other. It's within their right as citizens. But is there a targeted policy you think government should embrace to curb that movement?
There is no one single policy that government can embrace. Just like you have already said, people will always compare what is available here and there in making their choices. In Nigeria, where do we start from? Infrastructural services. Yeah? If people have access to basic infrastructural amenities, they'll be more satisfied. But it is one thing for those facilities to be there. It's another thing for you to have the capacity to enjoy it. So if you are there and you don't have a job, no income, you may just be an onlooker. So there are a lot of fixes that government needs to do to keep its own people. And every decent economy nation, that is exactly what they do. We want to keep our people. So Nigeria should do all that is necessary. Make Nigeria more secured. Make Nigeria more productive. And you will see that people will only go out on holidays and they will joyfully return.
Okay, Mr. Adaramodu, we will go on a very short break right now and return to discuss more. You had mentioned the SDGs. We'll see how it can be better implemented in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Following the sudden outbreak of cholera in some parts of the Federal Capital Territory, significant number of cases have been tested positive for cholera. The Health and Human Services Secretariat has intensified surveillance in the affected communities around the area council. Therefore, residents are requested to report any case of diarrhea to the nearest health facility or the Department of Public Health on the following numbers: Dr. Sadiq Abdurrahman, 0803-705-1784, or Dr. Doris John, 0803-315-6560. Ensure that the water used for domestic purpose is clean, boiled and filtered. Start ORS immediately you have diarrhea. Ensure that all food is properly cleaned and well cooked before consumption. Ensure that fecal waste are hygienically disposed of. Do not defecate in the open or into streams. Houses with surface wells should make sure they are covered all the time. Public Health Department, FCT Health and Human Services Secretariat. Announcer.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still discussing investing in youth development to tackle unemployment. We've been discussing all of this with Mr. Kayode Adaramodu. Like I said earlier, he's a former GM of one of Nigeria's leading banks, international development consultant, a UK-based policy expert, and a gubernatorial aspirant for Kogi State. Ekiti State, I apologize. Ekiti State, well, I can give you another state on this platform. That's the power that I have. Apologies, though. So we had mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals, and a lot of people have said it is not relatable to the Nigerian problems. Would you agree?
People who say that may probably have a wrong understanding of what it is. SDG is not a Nigeria-made product. It is a global agenda. The United Nations, who, for ease of understanding, can be seen as the government of the whole world. Just the same way, Ekiti State government can sit down and decide for its people. Nigeria government can decide for Nigerians. The United Nations, they also have that power to sit down with world leaders and take decisions on behalf of the world. So it's a decision they started with the MDGs. It's a 15-year development plan. Nigeria joined the MDGs a bit late, and it was new to us in terms of how we go about development planning. But we are part and parcel of SDG from the word go.
Exactly.
And what the word is saying is, if you want to say Nigeria is better than Ghana, there should be some performance criteria that you want to be comparing. And if you want to say developed countries, we need your help to assist developing worlds, the question should be in what area. Right. So rather than leaving things ambiguous, the SDG has just tried to streamline, and provide clarity as to what every development planner should consider as the focus of the rest of the world.
Right.
So it's an aspiration that is looking at development from the angle of economy, social, and environment. So nobody will say it is not relevant to Nigeria.
Okay,
it is
but
very,
2030 is drawing really close.
Yes.
Do you think Nigeria has properly positioned itself to achieve some of those goals? That the goals, not about all 17, but do you think Nigeria is positioned well?
Let me use the most recent available report, the second report of voluntary national review, which the SDG office released for 2020. Using the available data, I would say they are prepared. And they have worked with all the state governments in Nigeria in trying to develop capacity on how to ensure that planning at state level, you understand, are such that SDGs are integrated into them. And I don't think there's any state you get to today where you will not have an expert working with the government on how to ensure that SDG requirements are captured in their development planning. Ekiti, for example, I think if there's one area where our government is doing extremely well, I would tell you it's in the area of ensuring that their development thinking, planning, and implementation embraces
the sustainable
development goals.
Okay, because I asked, because when you come back to the goal, that's SDG 8, that ensures that there is decent jobs for everyone. How much influence do you think the United Nations has on government and its policies if we still have this staggering reports of unemployment in Nigeria?
Yeah, what they did, I think if I'm right, November 2015, there's a board, the Chief Executive Board of United Nations. They gave an approval to a global initiative of decent work for youth. What that did was to prepare a framework that assists each government in knowing what to be done in meeting that target. So I would say at the level of the United Nations, they've done their bit. It is for us to also come back and domesticate it in our individual local environment. So for me, in Nigeria, it is part of the ERGP that I mentioned earlier. This government is looking at it. And I want to believe let's give them time. If we are rating the government based on what is available today, we might say not much has been done. But some of these things take a bit of time for them to show the real impact.
Okay, I'll quickly open phone lines so that people can join the conversation, ask questions, and maybe give suggestions on the topic, investing in youth development to tackle unemployment. 090-5740-8127. That is 090-5740-8127. Let's go back to politics and the Nigerian youth.
Okay.
Very often we see politicians like you, it's not an accusation, I hope you understand. However, we see politicians like you gather these young people, especially when elections are coming, such as yours, and then abandon them. It's a serious problem. Often the vices that we even are talking about here is because some politicians would empower them with weapons and all sorts, and when elections come and go, these boys do not have that much money is free again, and they have weapons in their hands. That's an accusation that it's in the streets. Please tell us how we can ensure that doesn't come on next year when your elections come.
Thank you. Whether that idea is good or not, the idea of bringing youths together, taking advantage of them, and making them as a tool for achieving one's political goal, whether it's a good thing or the other. I think we have a case of Boko Haram, the byproduct of such a bad behavior in our hand, to answer the question, is this something we should continue to do? For me, it is evil. I have said this to my people in Ekiti, and I thank God I'm not a stranger to them. I have been around. Next month, September, we make 1 year when NTA Ekiti celebrated their 17th anniversary of being in Ekiti.
And you were given an award.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please, let's quickly speak to this person. Hello, good morning.
Okay. Good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Mr. Muraki from Ekiti State.
Good morning, Mr. Muraki.
Yeah,
good morning.
Please go ahead.
I want to greet our brilliant incoming governor. That we love is a very nice thing to give money. I want to greet him. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Muraki, for the kind words. Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
And you too.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Good morning, sir.
Is that another caller?
No, okay, thank you. Is that all? You just wanted to greet him? Okay, he just wanted to say hello.
Thank you.
I think it's a Yoruba thing. You greet over and over and over again. So you were talking about youth being used as students.
Yes, so I was talking about that award. In their wisdom, I was the one they gave award to in the area of youth development. If anybody had played with my own future, I won't be here today.
Exactly.
So it's only a wicked soul that will want to take advantage of our youths. It is sad. Many of them are doing what they are doing, not because that is what they want to do, but since it has become the only available option for them to earn a living, at least for that period.
Exactly.
You see them running into it.
Please hold your thoughts. We have another caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Name and location, please.
My name is Sarah. I'm calling from Abuja.
Sarah from Abuja, if I got that right. Go ahead. Hi, Sarah. Are you there? Okay. Please call us back. It will be good to hear what your thoughts are. 09057408127. That is 090-5740-8127. Okay. Please go ahead.
So,
apologies, we have yet another caller. Okay. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, 090-5740-8127. Please go ahead. We lost that call.
So, the point I'm trying to make is that we should look beyond personal choices. It is my choice not to make use of the youth for thuggery. That is exactly what you're saying. Used and dumped at the end of election. I will not do that. But we must have an institutional arrangement to curb this bad habit. And I believe government can do that. It is so sad that today people who should be the one creating the right environment that should prevent such events from happening, they are part of the sad process. You see instances where thugs are protected by security outfits. So if our National Assembly can come up with the right laws that would make it difficult for politicians, very unfortunately, I don't want to say the National Assembly may not do this too, because they are beneficiaries of this bad process. But I believe it's a possibility that one day we can rise up and agree all together. Let's create a level playing ground. Don't use talk, I will use talk. Don't use talk, I will use talk. If all of them can agree, such a law can be passed, so that anybody caught in that kind of bad behavior, complete disqualification from the electoral process, can be meted.
Right. So we saw a video go viral in a place in Ghana where, we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you. Please speak up.
Okay.
Name and location, please.
This one in the country.
I didn't get that. Can you repeat it? Your name, please.
Unemployment. I think I are discussing unemployment.
Okay, it's really muffled and we can't hear you clearly.
Okay. I'll call back.
Okay, please, that will be good. 090-5740-8127. I was talking about a video in Ghana where young people returned bags of rice that was being offered by a politician. Do you think Nigerian youth have gotten there with poverty being the order of the day?
There's no way they will get there. If Ghana can do it, Nigeria can also do the same. And I loved that video when I saw it. I said, we are getting there. It's a gradual process. When we talk of democracy in Nigeria, I've not lost faith completely, because I know it's a journey.
Right.
We've started. We are learning. I have that belief in me that it's a matter of time. Our youth will rise up to the occasion. They will know that their future depends on the outcome of every electoral process. So when we begin to see it that way, and in it, I've done an illustration to our people. I said, when a man wants to go to a barber, he doesn't just wake up and locate any barber salon and enters. He wants to know whether that person can do a good barbing. Why? Because you are afraid of somebody giving you a wrong cut. But if that barbing gives you what you don't like, how long will it take for your hair to grow back? 3 weeks? 1 month?
In this case, 4 years.
Yeah. Women, you do the same. You don't just go to any salon. If we can pay attention to such simple things, where when an error occurs, the solution will come almost immediately. Our voting errors, the punishment is not just for 4 years. I've said it. There are many things we are suffering from today, not as a result of the decision we made in 2019, not even in 2015. So, if we begin to see these choices we are making at the polling booth as an approval that the future I want is what I'm putting here. I get it right, I enjoy it. I mess it up, I mess my future up. Then our attitude towards election will change.
I often refer to the just concluded local government elections in Lagos State, and we saw the voter apathy that happened there. We didn't see as much turnout.
Yeah.
A lot of experts keep referring to it as well, and it's something for concern. Are you concerned that Nigerian youths are becoming disinterested?
If they are disinterested, it's at their own peril. I'm sorry to say this. It may not sound friendly, but the truth has to be told. If they choose not to come out, people will still come out, votes will be counted, whoever has the majority becomes their ruler. And another 4 years of crime will follow. If the same energy the Nigerian youths put into NSAS, if the same energy can be used to mobilize for change of government, I am telling you, politicians will sit up. NSAS ended. Election followed. Senatorial election followed almost immediately in Lagos. What was the turnout? The same set of people are saying, we don't go agree. Where were they during the elections? They kept quiet. So Nigerian youths, until we take it as a matter of duty that voting is our right, and we have that choice to make and get ourselves involved. If it may be morally wrong, if we come out later after choices have been made for anyone to come and complain. So registration is going on now. This is the time for the youths, for the Nigerian youths, to mobilize themselves and get themselves registered. If we all make up our mind, we can change any government. And I believe politicians will begin to take Nigerian youths more serious.
Okay. Mr. Adaramodu, we have run out of time, so if you have last words to say to young people listening to you right now, who probably are praying for employment of some sort, what would it be?
I will encourage Nigerian youths. I will encourage the youths in Ekiti, my place of birth, not to lose hope. There are different voices up and down. Let's break up, let's break up. I would never join that voice. You won't appreciate the beauty of Nigeria until you go out. People who have been to other parts of the world will tell you how Nigerians are celebrated around the world. Of course, there are a few bad ones, but they don't represent who we are. We are specially created human beings. We have what it takes to be the best in the world. Let Nigerian youths, let them begin to see themselves behind the steering of this political process. Let them get involved. Let Nigerian youths have an agreement that a bad government is a government that is doomed and should be changed. Not through violence, but through the choice we make at the polling booth. It is possible. Let's try it in 2022 in Ekiti. And let Nigeria say that the youths of Nigeria can make a change when 2023 comes around. I will encourage us not to lose hope. Nigeria is a beautiful country, a great country. And my prayer is that one day we will get there. It's a journey. Democracy is a journey.
Exactly.
We have started. We will get there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Adaramodu. He's a UK-based policy expert, international development consultant, and a former GM of one of the leading banks in Nigeria. My name is Joy Radimini. Remember, COVID-19 is still with us. Use your hand sanitizers, wear your mask regularly, and maintain social distancing. Until tomorrow when the roundtable continues, have a blessed day.